Chapter 32, Dad's Week. Teeny hints of spring are trying to sprout up already in Dad's yard. I guess it happens every year. But it always hits me how messed up the season is. One day it's freezing cold, the next day, like today, it might be warm enough to wear shorts. I walk around in Dad's yard, checking on the early bird plants. The sun feels comfy warm on my arms. Tonight, the temperature is supposed to drop down to the 30s. That's just plain crazy. Tomorrow, the weather folks say, it might snow. A couple of inches. I'm hoping for a snow day. Woohoo! But I'm not holding my breath. Dad's daffodils are almost 3 inches high right now. I can see the blossoms hiding under their greenish skin, waiting to burst out. Wait a couple weeks, guys, okay? Why are you up so early? You won't like the weather tomorrow. I squat down and touch one of them. I hear the patio door clunk behind me. You talking to the flowers again? Darren asks, strolling over. He smells like he's fresh from the shower, wearing something I call trying to smell like a man cologne. I cough a little and smile to myself. He always wears too much. Yep, they're gonna get their little tushies frozen tonight, I say. Spring flowers have been blooming too early for centuries, he tells me. Every time a leftover freeze hits an overachiever bunch of flowers, every time a leftover freeze hits an overachieving bunch of flowers, humans panic, but the flowers just say, we got this. Chill. I laugh. Chill. That does sound very flower-like. Now Darren laughs. Seriously, though, in a few weeks, spring will be here for real, and those daffs will be sitting pretty, just like your dad likes. You always this smart? I ask, squinting up. Only on Thursdays. Chapter 33. I always volunteer to be a student guide on open house night. It's fun to walk down the halls in the evening. Everything seems to echo differently. The classrooms, which look pretty normal in the daytime, look strangely odd when it's getting dark outside. I've noticed that some kids have no parents come at all. But me, I've got not one, not two, not three, but 4 grown-ups showing up. It's actually sort of comical. They have to pretend like they like one another and get along. And they have to explain our family to teachers, who have seen all kinds of unusual situations. Watching the 4 parents in my life sharing the same crowded space is always a trip. Everybody is aware of what happened with Amani, so it looks like, to me, Mrs. Garcia is working really hard to soften the uneasiness that's floating on the edges of everything. She's bustling around, chatting with families, wearing a grin that looks pasted on. Every family is given a small brochure that talks about racism and how the community can work together to make things better. I really doubt a couple of paragraphs can change how people think or act, but I guess the school has to do something. So that part of the story kind of made me stop and think. She's right, that just handing out these pamphlets is not really going to make a difference in how people feel about racism, or if people are racist, it's probably not going to make a big change for those people. Hopefully it makes them think, but I don't think it's going to make a whole lot of change, like Isabella is saying. I guess the school has to do something. Lots of hearts of love are still plastered all over the walls. Classrooms display posters that say stuff like, keep calm and love each other, honor our differences, take a chance, make a friend. Me, you, we, them, us. All you need is love. Hate-free zone. I wave to Amani, who is walking to each class with her parents. They hover almost protectively over on either side of her, stone-faced. She nods at me, but I can tell she'd rather be any place else. I'll ditch them as soon as I can. She'll ditch them as soon as she can. I know, to help with the guide duties. That's gotta be way less stressful. I spend most of the evening directing lots of lost parents to their children's classrooms. Finally, one lady asks me to show her Mr. Kazilli's room. I lead her up the steps, turn the corner, and there they are. Mom, Dad, John Mark, Anastasia. All 4 of them in the same room. Oh man, I could play a piano concerto set to the uncomfortable looks on their faces. Mom holds John Mark's hand. Dad and Anastasia are like glued at the shoulder. John Mark clears his throat several times. He has pulled a handkerchief from his pocket and he wipes his face. Anastasia's makeup is shiny. I can tell her face is sweaty. When she's not clutching John Mark's arm, Mom's pulling her scrunchie on and off her hair. Twists it on, pulls it off, over and over. Anastasia's hair, however, held like glue with spray and gel, moves in one solid piece, almost like it's a hat perched on her head. Dad's eyes dart from the windows to the doors to the ceiling like an escape hatch might be there. I stand at the door and laugh. They have to be nice to one another, polite to one another. They are so pitiful. It's hilarious. Weird. For once, I'm the only one who feels relaxed. I don't say anything to any of them. I just turn and leave. Let them suffer. Chapter 34, Exchange Day. Dad and Anastasia are late dropping me off at the mall. Over a half hour. It's unusual because Dad is usually so precise. We pull into the parking lot. It's packed. Anastasia's driving this time. She circles and circles. Dad totally stressing. I'm sorry, Isabella, Anastasia says. I just couldn't get away from that last client. That was one talky woman. I bet I can tell you about every moment of the last 10 years of her life. Relax, honey. Dad keeps his voice soothing as he focuses on the parking situation. It's okay, I tell her. Did they decide to let you decorate their house? Yes, they put in a solid offer and gave me a deposit. Well, it was worth it, I reply. But what's the big deal if we're late? Dad tries to explain. Custody is a delicate dance, sweetie. Each side has to comply, or the judge can change the agreement. I feel a little curdle in my stomach. Like how? All I know, Dad says empathetically, is that I'd like to have you every single day of every single week of every single year. Then he hesitates. But your mother would too. So I'm not messing up and risking the time I do have with you. Anastasia swoops after a blue SUV is pulling out and turns the car into the space. Smooth. We scramble out and run walk across the parking lot. The door in front of us is the back of the mall, of course, the farthest away from the Apple store. All of a sudden, my father, like some kind of track star, shifts into a full-on run. I can't believe we're running. Yes, running, my backpack thumping against my back. We're sprinting past the Sprint store. Ha ha! No time to laugh at that. Past Hollister, past Lush, bounding up the escalator, past Bose, a new pink, and Alex and Annie, and down to the Apple store. Mom and John Mark are sitting there stiff as statues. Uh-oh. I can see Mom lifting her arm to check her watch. She glares at Dad. They stand as we arrive. I turn and hug Dad goodbye. He's breathing hard. He embraces me, whispers how much he loves me, and then I turn. I walk slowly to Mom and let her hug me. She, too, tells me how much she loves me. I hear Dad walking away.